Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Let's start our story with a tale of petty revenge with a funny ending. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Turn off everything in your room. My younger brother has just been helping my dad with his computer. As is often the case, an argument ensued and my brother withdrew his IT services. In an act of spite, my father instructed my brother to turn off everything in his bedroom. If he won't help my dad with his computer problem, then my brother can't use his own PC. There's some logic there, I suppose. However, he seems to have forgotten that the router is located in my brother's bedroom. He's been in the study for 10 minutes. We don't know what he's doing on his laptop without an internet connection, but my brother's practicing his crap-eating grin for when he eventually emerges. And our second story. Forget what the vendor says. I'm right. This is back when I worked for a large promotional product company. Our production manager signed a contract with a specialty t-shirt printer company, we'll call them XYZ, to have a machine installed. They send out 3 people to meet with the team on how to run it, a designer, an engineer, and a salesperson. The people in the meeting were just myself, a lead artist, and the production lead who'd be running it. So I spend time with the designer since I'd need to focus more on the art setup for these machines and thus would train the rest of the team. So he explains it all to me. We set up the templates we'd need for our company, complete with color settings to make sure the printer prints the correct colors and positioning on the shirts. Overall, the whole thing takes around 4 days. I should also mention the production lead who was training with the engineer. He's been printing for 13 years. This woman knows exactly what she's doing. She picks up on everything quickly and has her team running the machine with perfect settings in no time. She even has different profiles with the engineer based on the material of the shirts in a day. Things are running perfect until she's on leave for surgery. For a month. A different manager who runs a different print set, mostly mugs, decides he's going to take over. He leads the girls running the machine and decides he's going to set up the t-shirt machine the way his machines are set up because it's the right way. He comes to me a day later and sits down with me. Given I was the creator of all the templates, I'll be me, the out-on-leave production lead will be PL, my manager will be CM, clueless manager, and this know-it-all who tried to take over will be KIA. KIA. Hey, OP, I need you to pull up the templates for the machine you did with XYZ company. Me. Sure, not a problem. I pull up all the templates. Yeah, I need you to make these changes and adjust the color settings to this RGB setting. But the designer at XYZ said to keep it at this CMYK setting. Listen, I've been running machines for 20 years. I know what I'm talking about. Sure, KIA. I'll make those adjustments. I make the changes but save them as a copy, keeping the originals. I let him know they're done and immediately go to my art manager, CM. Hey, CM, KIA just had me redo all the XYZ templates to match his machines. I'm pretty sure it's going to cause major issues with the production if he messes with the settings. It won't print right. We have around 6 orders for the press. Most of them are for 200 pieces. Can you talk to the production manager and have him talk to KIA? I don't think he's supposed to be messing with PL's machines anyway. CM. It should be fine. KIA's been printing longer than PL. But PL specializes in textiles. This is a textile machine. KIA specialized in ceramics. He runs a ceramics machine. It'll be fine. Update all the current orders to the new templates like he wants. Okay. I go out and do exactly as I'm told. The production manager comes over to look at the machine and show it off to the CEO, only to show off shirts that look like utter garbage. CEO gets mad. We've dropped around $80K on a machine that's producing garbage. He storms off looking for PL, is reminded that she's out for surgery, then comes to look for me. He gets huffy and I calmly tell him that KIA decided to step in for PL, and when I told CM about it, she told me to follow whatever KIA said to do, despite my protests. He storms off again looking for KIA and yells at him, then yells at CM for telling me to go against what XYZ trained me to do for the machine. I'm told to go back to the old templates, which I do, but the quality is still bad. PL finally comes back, and the production manager rushes over to see if she can get it running properly again as the CEO is angry. She looks, and all of her settings are off. All of them. Around 15 settings messed with. She set most of them up with the engineer and doesn't remember all of the settings offhand. XYZ is contacted, their team flown back out to us to fix the machine back to how it was. KIA is present as they reset everything, constantly trying to add his 2 cents. Production manager sees him and forbids him from getting near the machine, given he cost the company around $3,000 in late orders, unusable product, and having to have XYZ come in and fix his F-ups. And our next story. When the new boss keeps telling us to follow the rules or suffer the consequences. I work in waste in a large public building, and we have a team of about 10 lads who each service up to 9 rooms with 4 huge half-ton bins in each. It's often messy work, and it's a struggle to attract workers, so the guys that remain are often reliable and very hard-working. It being a public service also means the lads will work above and beyond what they're supposed to, as it saves money. We're also on near minimum wage for hauling this stuff through 8 miles of walking each shift. So last year, a new boss arrives, immediately starts questioning the way everything works. That's fine, she's here to learn and might bring in new ideas. However, soon she begins to point fingers at good workers and complain about costs. Some of these guys are giving an hour extra or more a week, and their efforts just weren't up to her ideals. We start to think she's trying to find problems so as to cut staff. We get virtually no funding, and equipment is always faulty. One day, one of the lads goes into the men's changing rooms to go for a pee, sits on a seat to tie his shoelaces, and she walks in. No announcement, no chaperone. It's in the rules that she has to be accompanied by a senior male member of the staff to protect her as much as any staff member. Lad put on disciplinary. Another day, another lad, pushing a noisy trolley of equipment, gets pulled for making too much noise. Tried to explain it's not out of responsibility to repair the equipment, and we have no control over the noise it makes. We still have to get the job done. Disciplinary. Another day, a non-waste member of the public jumps into our lift, refuses to leave. Boss sees, disciplines lad for letting member of the public in there. So we all decide to have a little chat in private and to stop doing free time, stop rushing, and to refuse to use faulty equipment on safety grounds. The place ground to a halt within 2 days, with people phoning the boss asking why the hell wasn't the rubbish taken, to which she calls a meeting and starts asking angry questions. Slowly, she starts to realize that she's caused this and that it isn't going to be fixed with her shouting down guys and being a bee. A few weeks pass and we end up with another meeting. Now she's put forward a new contract and asked us to all sign over to worse conditions and less money as the department is in dire financial problems. Not our problem. Go to government and complain. So now we've all had our overtime taken away with the time being offered to an agency. Agency lads have refused to come as they don't like messy work. She doesn't understand that they get to choose and that work isn't being done again. She now has to learn that we understand our rights as well as our responsibilities and that she has some responsibilities herself. Quick update. A couple of the guys threatened with disciplinary had to go to HR with her. She failed to prove her case, and HR verbally bullocked her in front of the employees. This is what I've been told by those colleagues. And our last story. I got my revenge on my evil neighbor. I live in a masonette house. In the UK, a 4 in a block, and the only parking is on the street. I recently got my license and put onto my parents' insurance to keep costs low. This is where the story starts. I have this neighbor who's an awful driver, crashed at least 2 cars, and who also fly-tip abandoned rubbish in their gardens, blocking our fire escape. This is all relevant information. I parked my car outside one day, on street parking, and she pulled up right behind me, blasted her horn, and started swearing at me to move out of her space. Opened my door and threatened to smash my car up. I locked my car and went inside, ignoring her. I looked out the window and she parked her car on my bumper, then placed another car she owns on my other bumper, causing slight paint damage and making sure I couldn't get to work the next day. This continued for a few weeks, her parking right on my car or parking her 2 cars over 4 spaces. Keep in mind, I own my house and she rents hers, meaning we have parking rights over her due to having the parking passes. I had enough of this after a while. I ran the license plate for both of her cars through a website that tells you the MOT status of a vehicle. Car 1, MOT'd. Car 2, MOT expired. What this basically means is that the car cannot be driven or even on public land, and I had the information I wanted. I called up the council whose authority it is to report the car and told them about an abandoned vehicle parked outside my house on restricted parking times. They got back to me and told me they'd pass it on to police. I then decided to phone her landlord about her fly tipping in the back garden. He came, spoke to me and my parents, investigated, and put her lease in contest because she'd blocked our escape route and left the stuff abandoned. I kept calling about the car every day for about a month until one day she moved the car to another car park around the corner, again onto public land. I reported it again, this time with evidence it had moved. The council arrived that day and stuck a ticket on it saying they were made aware the vehicle was abandoned and the owner had to contact them to get it moved. A few days ago, I woke up and saw a note taped on the car saying that the vehicle will be crushed in 7 days if she doesn't respond to them, and the car has an outstanding fine of £1,872, and it'll increase if this action is taken, meaning she calls them or gets it crushed. The car's still there today, so it looks like it might get crushed. Safe to say, I don't think she'll damage my car or swear at me again. I also don't think in the future she'll ignore the council's calls for her to respond to them. Update. Car got taken and crushed, which caused her to lose her temper and shout at the tow truck driver. He phoned the police on her and caused her to receive an ASBO, antisocial behavior order, along with her landlord putting her on a final warning. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.